Yes! I've had a breakthrough happen, and I'm going to tell you all about it in this video. Hi, I'm Chris, and just like you, I love the pentatonic scale. There are just so many things you can do with it, so many things you can play, so many ways you can sound like rock and roll. But, let's face it, there are different ways to play the pentatonic scale, and some ways just sound like dog fart. Now, I don't really want my licks to sound like dog farts, so I've put in place a lot of measures to try to prevent that, and finally, they've given some results. I want to share those with you. So, here's a classic, rock lick, but it doesn't sound very good, does it? Now, if I play the same rock lick, sounds very different depending on what technique I'm using. Here's another one. Versus, okay, same lick, but sounds totally different. When you realize this, you're definitely on the verge of a breakthrough. And we're gonna look at, what the difference is. What am I doing different? And how can I apply that to my playing in general so that all my licks can sound good and not like dog fart. I bet you're interested in this topic. So, the thing is, a lot of times when we mess up, we think we have a lick down, we practiced it a lot, but then we stand in front of an audience and we just can't perform. And the reason that happens, I find, is often related to the synchronization of hands. And if you know the lick well, it's going to be more specifically related to the right hand and the picking. If you haven't practiced the lick a lot, then there's a big chance your left hand might be failing as well. So it's hard to give you like a general analysis there. But I've found that for me, having practiced for a very long time, when I think I master something, but then hit the record button and it doesn't work out, then a lot of times it's the right hand. The right hand is tricky. This piece of plastic, can be a little bit limiting actually. Now I like it a lot because it allows for speed. So I use that a lot, I love that. But it's not really precise when you're going between strings. And when you're playing pentatonic rock licks, it's all about hitting one or two notes, one string, and then going to the next string, because the pentatonic scale only has typically 2 notes per string if you're playing it in like a standard box shape. Whereas when I showed you the fast picking, that was, or even 4 notes per string, so 3 or 4 notes per string, and sliding on the same string, that means we don't have to worry at all about hitting the wrong string, because I'm just doing this on one string, right? So that's easy. Provided I can sync my hands, I won't fail. However, playing the pentatonic scale, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, this requires a lot more precision, a lot more practice. And even with that, it's easy to fail. So how can we prevent that from happening? Well, I like to avoid using the pick at any extent possible. And that's what has led me to breakthroughs throughout the year. For example, this super simple basic lick, it's just on the B string 15, E string 12, E string 15, and then we go back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I play that with alternate picking, not only am I a bit limited in the way I can produce speed here, but I also run a great risk of hitting the wrong string simply because in this fast picking movement, I have to reposition my pick and then make this plucking movement. And in this repositioning is often where I fail and where I think many people fail. So instead of trying to play like this, what I found is if I can keep my pick only playing the B string and then be a little smart and have my finger play the high E string, I don't have to reposition my pick at all. So, and there's no failing there either. Plus, it allows for faster speeds. So let me go through it one more time. I'm not playing it the standard way, like that. Instead, I'm picking and then playing. I'll be providing you with a link below the video so you can see the tab for this video and practice it slowly. But hopefully you can see that there's a difference here. There's a huge difference in how I execute this lick, but also how it ends up sounding. And what you don't see here is that the percentage of me hitting the wrong string is just so much better when I'm not moving around. And that is very noticeable whenever I try to record or produce something. So it's actually a lifesaver and a time saver and a music saver because it sounds cooler. So I hope this makes sense, and I hope you've been able to extract some knowledge out of this little mini lesson. I use hybrid picking a lot, and more specifically, when I combine it with legato, I call it hybrid legato, and that's my pretty much #1 technique for playing, well, any run that isn't super, how should I say, repetitive or predictable. So if you know that you're going to be playing like a group of 6 notes all the time, then I can use more picking because it's more predictable and I can basically do the same thing all over. It's much easier. I don't have to involve as much brain power. But if I want to be less predictable and play 3 notes on one string, 1 note on the other string, and then maybe just 1, 1, 1, 1, then I'm going to use much more fingers, and that's kind of the trick here. So start involving your fingers, and you can start with this basic lick that I'm going to tab for you. But in general, just using your fingers not only is going to sound better, but it's going to give you more control, and further down the road, it's actually going to give you more speed, more precision, and more perceived speed, because you won't be messing up as much. It's going to sound better, and the listener is basically going to perceive your playing as more advanced. Although you might not even be playing faster or anything like that, you're just playing with more precision. So, thanks so much for tuning in with me. It's been really nice to share this little piece of knowledge with you, because when this happened to me, or when I realized that I could start using my fingers for these licks, that was a total revelation, and it kind of changed, I think, my level of playing, but also the way I just viewed at playing licks with precision. It's just a total game changer. So I really wish you can go through the same kind of journey, and I hope to hear back from you. You've been wonderful, and I've been Christopher Dahl. Thanks so much for watching. See ya. Cheers.